Thanks for listening to Blue Collar Takes. Oh, and fuck YouTube.
Welcome back, everybody. Pat, what's going on, brother?
Same old, same old.
Daily grind, huh? Daily
Y-
grind.
Yeah, yeah, just trying to figure out how we can get this house healthy. I don't know, man. I think we're just passing it to everybody, so
Well,
it's,
I mean,
it's been a
at that
grind.
age, they're your kids are disease factories. They bring it home, they pass it along, and you got about 4 years of it, and then it'll go away for a little while. And then when they're
Mhm.
teenagers, it comes back.
Sweet.
Yeah, just so you're aware.
hmm But and I probably shouldn't even say this on here. I
Go
don't want
for it.
to seem like I'm just a complete asshole. Okay. However, the doctor that we had today, because it was an emergency thing,
Yeah.
um, I thought she was like being silly with the girls with the one that was sick, but she could not say words with R. So it was take a deep breath.
Oh
Let's
wow.
listen to your ears. Like, bro, Brenda's like, what'd she say? And I was like, I don't know. I was distracted. She couldn't use the R's, and I thought it was a gimmick. It wasn't. So then
That's priceless.
I was like, so does she type? Does she use the R's when she types? And
Oh,
Brenda's like, she yelled at me. But
that's,
anyways, I couldn't believe that. You're a doctor. Like, how is that?
hey,
I get it, but like there's speech. Like you make enough money. Are you telling me that's a
nothing.
thing that people can't get over?
Maybe.
I don't know that you can't get over it. Maybe
I
I'm just
mean,
an asshole.
when
But
I
it
was
seems to
little, I
me,
had that too, but
yes, but you
I
don't
can say
now?
my say my R's.
That's
Yes,
what I'm saying. She's a doctor. And
I
not
don't
one of
know.
them fake doctors like a PA or I'm
Well, hold
really
on a
gonna get
second.
in
Hold on.
trouble. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't back a little bit. Um, no, I'm gonna get in trouble. Was she hot?
No. And she had a little bit of a belly, right? And
I
the
can't. You
girl
gotta stop.
the little one that I took started like rubbing her belly and I stopped her before she asked if she was pregnant. But I knew that's where that was fucking going.
Oh no.
She was not.
Oh no.
Yeah, it wasn't a
That's
pregnancy
that
belly.
that's that's priceless.
I just like you
You
gotta
got
keep your hand to yourself.
you got to be very respectful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
couldn't get over it.
I
You're a doctor, for God's
yeah.
sakes.
Hey, you know what though? Like,
You sent me a list of places for speech, just so you know. You have the resources available to you.
uh, at that stage though, I mean, you've lived with it so long. I mean, why change?
I don't know.
You
I
know what I
don't
mean?
know. I guess I
You might
would.
as well roll with it.
Yeah, whatever. All right. So I'm gonna get a bunch of hate mail now, probably.
You're definitely getting hate mail for this.
Yeah,
And I'm just a pig, so it's cool.
it's fine. Whatever.
Hmm.
All right. So just
Yeah,
about 10 minutes ago, they passed the budget, the Trump budget, the big beautiful bill
the big beautiful bill.
that they had canceled earlier in the night tonight, and then put back on the schedule because they didn't think they had enough votes, and then they did. So I think Massey was the only one that voted against it, which is no shock.
Right.
So I was trying to see. It's got the no tax on tips. It's got the no tax on overtime. It's got the no tax on Social Security. It has his tax. It extends his tax. Um, were they credits or what? What was it? Was just his tax stuff from that was about to expire, right? From was it
Yeah. Well, it says,
the 2017 tax cuts or whatever?
yeah,
Yeah,
he
that's when he
extended.
changed. That's when he changed like the deductions and everything, right? You got
Mhm.
more deductions. Like the standard deduction was higher.
Yeah. Passed a 217, 215 vote. Barely passed.
Yeah, well, it had
Um,
passed by their numbers.
hmm
Well, I mean, minus Massey.
Yeah, but like you said, everybody saw that coming. He's been crabby about things for a while.
Well, and I don't disagree with his. I mean, the way he's been, right? Um, it adds like 4.5 trillion in spending. Like, if they can't, like, this is just the first part, right? So passing this without the rest of it is kind of a leap of faith.
Right.
So if you don't get the other part done, then you're adding 4.5 trillion.
Right.
So that
So,
I see the stance. However, you can't put the cart before the horse,
right.
right?
Well,
You can't do the
you gotta
other
pass
part
both.
until you pass. Well, this one sets up the rules for the next one,
Right.
right? So you had to get this one passed first because it instructs a bunch of committees to like gives them rules on how to cut funding.
So it's what
So like it,
300 billion. 300 billion is going to the border for border security.
yeah.
It cuts 1.5 to 2 trillion in spending from other places,
Hmm.
and it also provides 4.5 trillion to the extended 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act provision, which is going to expire at the end of this year.
Yeah.
Uh, it forced everybody to reconcile the 2 trillion in cuts, and that's where I think a lot of the anger was.
Hmm.
They're cutting everything anyway.
Hmm.
Um, but let's look at it. I mean, the positives of this thing, right? Like, it sucks having to work overtime, and you work 20 hours overtime and you
Hmm.
get paid for 2 hours of it because taxes rape you on the rest, right? So
Hmm.
no overtime, no tax on tips, and no tax on Social Security. Social Security is going to help. That's going to help a lot of the elderly out quite a bit, right?
For sure. For sure.
Because when they dip into it, they have to pay taxes on it. So I mean, that's a good thing.
That's a
Like
big
that
amount. Yeah.
that'll help our parents, right?
Yes. Yes, for
And
sure.
so uh I'm all for that. And then the overtime thing for us, and even like the no tax on tips. I mean, that's a big thing too, because that
Hmm.
sucks. I mean, you're making the bulk of your money off tips. You already got to split it with, if you're a waitress, you're splitting it with a hostess and a bus, boy or whatever, whoever it is you're working with. And that sucks because, you're cutting it in third or in half some nights.
Hmm.
And then you got to pay 40% on top of that. That sucks
Yeah.
between state and federal, right? So, I mean, that's pretty cool. The tips thing is going away. And then for us specifically, I mean, you know, it wasn't worth working overtime. Well, now it is.
Hmm.
When this finally rolls out, and now it is worth working overtime. If I'm not going to be taxed on overtime, I'll work overtime.
Yeah.
I'll work as much as I can get. But it just didn't make any sense to be raked over the coals at tax time
Hmm.
if you're, you know,
Hmm.
if you're somebody who likes to work. And we work with a lot of people who like to work. I mean, just think of some of those guys. We've
Hmm.
got a guy on that works with us all the time from the Alpha, right? So you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
That guy would have made a killing this year if there was no overtime
Yeah.
on
He
no
made
taxes on
almost
overtime.
as much as we did, and we're at a significantly higher pay grade.
Oh yeah, yeah, he was close.
Hmm.
He was close, but I mean, this guy lived at work, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, I don't know, but he would have made an absolute friggin' killing if he would have been way
Hmm.
over us if he would have kept all his money.
Well, the take home. I mean, the net. He still gross. He still didn't catch us, but the net. What he would have been. I mean, it would have been crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think he said he had one day where the one check that the taxes were like 3 grand.
That's just insane. Yeah, that's just insane. But that's
I think that's isn't that what he said? He was
yeah,
talking to you, right? And you and
yeah,
me. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I enjoy. I mean, obviously, I
Hmm.
like the guy, right? He's a hard
Yeah.
worker. He busts
Yeah.
his ass.
Yeah.
I like the guy, but it's funny because he busts his ass so he can go party out some hard
Yeah.
hard times in Vegas.
Yeah.
I can get down with that.
Yeah. That's all right.
Yeah.
We don't kink shame.
Fuck no.
Yeah.
No, no. He
Unless you can't use the R's.
unless that's your thing, then I guess we can't shame
Well,
him.
I guess I can't.
Yeah, yeah. You can't. Your
Fuck, I didn't
rules.
think about that. That is my
Your
rule.
your rules, bro.
Shit. All
Yeah.
right, I'm sorry. I'll delete that whole first part. So this seems like
No, that's got to stay in. That's gotta stay in.
all right, fine.
Yeah,
What
I
else?
think this would be a good thing. This past budget will be a good
What
thing,
have
unless
you
they get screwed.
have you found anything else in it? Like I was trying to find. I thought there was supposed to be a bunch of stuff in it about not just the taxes, but like I don't know. I thought there was a bunch of shit in there, like structure for the committees on how to, but I can't seem to find what committees are to like. I know agriculture because they're talking about cuts to SNAP, and they're talking about cuts to
It's
Medicare and Medicaid, but it was the cuts
House
were about
Energy
the
and
fraud,
Commerce. Yeah,
right?
it's House Energy and Commerce is supposed to get rid of 880 billion in their spending,
21% cut. Okay, here I
and
got it.
a lot of that's coming from Medicaid because of the overpayments that are going to Medicaid. Remember we talked about that, so they're going
Mm-hmm.
to cut a bunch from that.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
There's 21% cut to agriculture, which is the SNAP program,
mhm,
and 11% reduction in spending. Cuts to Medicaid would amount to an 11% reduction in spending over a decade.
right.
So did you get that? And I know Medicaid and Medicare are different, but did you get that thing about Medicare and the thing I sent you that video from the pharmacist who buys their pharmacy is a cost plus pharmacy, so they sell the drugs at cost what they can buy them for plus $10. So there's a cancer drug that was they they can buy it for $7. Okay. They add
Mhm.
10, they sell it for 17. Medicare gets billed $2,400 for it.
Yeah,
Like
that's big.
that's the shit that they're talking about
Mhm.
where the cuts are going to be coming from. So he's like, they saved their pharmacy. If they had done all of the drugs all the prescriptions that went through there, they would have saved $8.5 billion,
This is
million
so. This is
dollars.
like
I gotta
this is
find
how
that
it
video.
works, right? So, uh, when you're a pharmaceutical company and you make a drug, right? Your research and development that went into making the drug for a certain amount of years, only you can charge for name brand prices, right? Only your pharmacy. So if your company makes the drugs, Pat Pharmacy or Pat Pharmaceuticals can charge $1,000, for whatever the dose is for the drugs, right? Until you've made back your R&D, right? Then I can come in after that, and the price that I can charge, I can do off brand, right, or off label, so then I can come in and now I can make that since you've you've got made back your research and development costs, and then I can come in and charge less than you. But the thing in here with that we're seeing with pharmaceutical companies is if you're charging 1,000, you and I have talked, and you've got the name brand behind your drug, so people want you. You're the label. Doctors are prescribing you, not me, the off brand. So you and I, as pharmaceutical companies, have talked, and you're like, hey, listen, man, uh, I get that I'm charging 1,000 for this drug, and now you're in on the secret, and you know that it costs $100 to make. You could charge $200 and be making a killing and steal all my business. Or why don't you charge $900? I'll charge 1,000. I'm still going to get a lot of doctors who just want to keep it name brand, and you're going to get a lot of people that can pay off label, and that's
So
the scam.
So this doesn't even talk about that part. I know that that part is out there as well. This talks about the three pharmacy benefit managers who are the ones that are the middlemen for the pharmaceutical companies and the pharmacies. They sell them and they set the price. The pharmaceutical companies bought them.
Oh, that's nice. So it's a monopoly.
Correct. So three pharmacy benefit managers control over 90% of all prescription pricing in America. Pharmaceutical companies bought all three pharmacy benefit managers. They set their own pricing. Medicare pays an astronomical price, and taxpayers pick up the bill. So
So
he's saying this drug he buys for $7. They add 10, so they're out the door for 17. When Medicare pays for the drug, it costs them 2,400. The drug was filled 250,000 times in 1 year, costing Medicare $600 million. If that pharmacy had filled all of those, they would have saved $596 million.
that's just
It's the
robbery.
same fucking drug.
It's just robbery, right? But that's what I was saying. That's what happens. They got together and they're like, okay, well,
Yep.
we're going to control the prices. It's a monopoly in the pharmaceutical industry, and they're
Correct.
all in it together.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other thing too that's happening, which I think is absolutely disgusting, which we caught during COVID, was they obviously the latest and greatest drug that comes out that they want to make a bunch of money off of, they push.
Yeah.
And they give doctors kickbacks. They send them to all these conventions and they send them on like vacations and trips where they go and learn about the drug and blah 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 blah. But really, you're learning 12 hours about this drug that they want you to freaking rep for them, and then you're spending a week and a half in Florida or a week and a half in the Bahamas or wherever it is. And this shit
Mhm.
happens all the time. I hear stories about this all the time from my wife, who's in the medical field, where doctors are doing this crap constantly. Well, then when it comes time for like the COVID crap, they shit all over hydroxychloroquine, they shit all over
Mhm.
ivermectin, and now we know that those drugs are far more effective at curing COVID than remdesivir was. And remdesivir was the drug they repped.
Mhm.
And if we're gonna get another strike on YouTube, so fuck YouTube. But remdesivir was the drug they repped, and remdesivir had to have it had to be given intravenously, meaning an IV, and you had to have
Mhm.
2 courses of it. So it required a hospitalization stay. So you got one course the first week, another course the next week. So it made everybody money. The pharmaceutical companies got money. The hospitals got money. Everyone in that got money, and the people who were taking it, it didn't help. And that's the problem with pharmaceutical companies is they're fucking dirty.
Mhm.
They know their drugs don't care, just like they knew the freaking vaccination wasn't going to work, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
They knew that you could still catch it, you could still pass it, you could still contract it, you could still die from it. They knew that shit. That was
Mhm.
said at the very beginning. They even knew that there was serious health problems that could arise from it, but they didn't care. They wanted the money, and they made it. I mean, if you look at the government now, I saw a statistic just a couple days ago. The government service employees, the people that are aides and everything else, there's more millionaires in that group of people that are helping, you know, congressmen and senators. Their aides are millionaires even.
Mhm.
Well, how does that happen? How does an
Mhm.
aide who's making $40,000-$50,000 a year, how the fuck do they become a millionaire?
Right.
Right? Well, we know how, because they're getting insider trading, investing, and they're playing the same game that all these fucks in Washington are playing. And so like this whole pharmaceutical thing, it's not new, but it needs to be fixed. Like it
Mhm.
needs to be somebody needs to do something about it because that's that's ridiculous. 500 and something million in
Five
prices
hundred.
where you
594, almost 600 million
I mean that's fucking ridiculous. That's
for
such a scam.
one drug.
One drug. And how many drugs are
Mhm.
like that are out there? What, hundreds?
Right. Hundreds.
Right? I
Mhm.
mean, it's fucking ridiculous. It needs to be fixed. And you would think with who they have now with RFK and everybody that seems to be, I mean, this seems to be a full court press right now.
Mhm.
You would think we're going to move in the direction to fix this kind of stuff, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
Yep. We'll see. But I
I'm
think
already getting.
that's what this. I think that's what this was supposed to. This bill was structuring how they're going to do these cuts. So it's just we just got to get into it and figure it out, I guess.
I hate saying that because that's like a Nancy Pelosi thing. Like we got to pass it to see what's in it. But
Well, yeah, but we don't have access to it before. I mean, I guess it was
right,
online. We could have, but we're not the ones
right,
voting on it.
right. They knew what they were getting into because
Yeah.
they're seeing the cuts anyway. And I'll
Yeah.
be
And their
honest,
staff members wrote it the way they wanted them to.
right?
None of that
Eh,
shit happened by accident.
no, No, it's all being. This is all coming from the top down.
Yeah,
It's not coming bottom up right now. This is like
correct.
they're in Fixville right now, and they got to fix
Yeah.
some shit going on. I was gonna say I'm getting a lot of text messages from a couple listeners, 3 listeners in particular, about the Epstein list. Why have we not seen the Epstein list? Why have they not released it? What the fuck is going on? And a lot of them are thinking they're not going to release the list, right? And so I had a long conversation with one listener today. I was like, "Listen, man, I don't know. I don't know why the list has not come out yet because Pam Bondi said she had it on her desk or she had a list of his clients on her desk, not the people who flew on the plane on the Lolita Express.
Hmm.
She had a list of his clients on her desk. And the question is, when's it coming out? And she said there was a lot of documents to go over and whatever, all that sort of stuff. I have a couple theories and I want to throw this out there. Theory one is if you remember, um, a group of attorneys were hired by some hedge funds to come in and represent the victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Those attorneys sued almost like a class action lawsuit, sued on behalf of these victims, sued the estate of Jeffrey Epstein. And every one of the victims who was given a settlement had to sign a non disclosure agreement
Hmm.
saying they would not disclose any names or any other persons that they saw or who were in contact or they were in contact with at all during any of Jeffrey Epstein's parties or on his island or any of that,
Hmm.
which means they can't point the finger at anybody else who, you know, abused them sexually, right? Now, a lot of grew up women, a lot of the victims took the buyout. A lot of them took the money, but there was a handful of 8 to 12 women who did not, said absolutely not. I have a theory that now that they have the list, I have a theory that Cash and Bondi and now Dan Bongino, they're reaching out to these 8 women and they're
Yeah.
asking,
Yeah. I think
would
so too.
you would you like to go after these people?
Yeah.
Because Trump wants them gone, these people gone.
Hmm.
Elon wants them gone. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or you're a Democrat. That's theory one. Okay, that maybe there is some stuff in the works behind behind the curtain that they're looking at stuff. Option two is that whoever's on this list, it's going to be major elites of major companies, CEOs, things of that nature, and they're trying to haggle for, uh, they're trying to negotiate their way out of being, sailed down the river, right? And they're trying to maybe threaten or, like economically trying to hold the economy hostage, uh, to do these things. That's option two, right? There's negotiations going back and forth, would be option two. That's a possibility. These people are so rich and so powerful who are in this circle that they might be fighting back. And if you're Trump and you're the Justice Department, you have to have every duck in a row before you release that list, and you have to be able to explain to the American people what you're going to do next because they are going to want to know why the fuck my senator or my congressman or whoever it is on that list and what are you doing about it, especially if you're a Republican and it's a Democrat or you're a Democrat and it's a Republican, right? You're going to want even more to know what the hell you're going to do with that.
Hmm.
And then I have option three. And option three is a lot less friendly. I think option three is they're worried that if they do go in there and they release this list, it could cause significant damage to their chances of getting another 2 years after the initial two, right? So we're a year away from election season for Congress, right? So if there's multiple Republicans that are going to be named in this list, which there might be, we don't know, that they would be afraid that those Republicans are going to get ousted in the next election and they would lose the power of the House and the Senate and they could potentially lose the ability to um, enact the rest of their agenda going before, for the full 4 years, the full term of Trump. So I think that's option three. And maybe there's more options than that, but those would be my initial guesses that I would have as to why it's not taking place at the time speed that we want. Like I wanted it released day one. And I've said this from the beginning. I don't give a fuck if you're a Republican or a Democrat. If you're on that list and you were abusing children, string your ass up. You don't deserve to be in Washington. You don't represent me.
Mm-hmm.
You damn sure don't represent anyone I know.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, we're looking at things from ground level, and the Trump team has to look at it from the 1,000-foot view, right? They have to look at it from like a tactical battlefield commander. They can't look at it from the grunt on the ground who's stuck in a foxhole. Uh, so we can't rush to judgment, and we can't be so impatient that we can't wait it out a little bit and see what's going on. Now, I do have a caveat to this because I told one of the listeners who was like pretty frustrated about this. I said, I'm going to give it 3 months, and here's what happens. I'm going to read this to you what I said to him because um, I think this is fair, and I think I'm going to stick to this. Uh, I think I believe this. All right, so the tricky part is being patient, right? If they stay radio silent, this is what I said to him. He said, "So how long are you willing to wait until you realize or know that they will not release it?" And I said, "That's the tricky part. If they are radio silent for the next 3 months and don't say anything about it, then I'm going to lose my shit." I said, "If they come out and say they are reviewing it, I'm going to lose my shit. If they come out and say the evidence was lost, I'm going to lose my shit. If they say they are now investigating others tied to a list, I will be patient. Anything other than that is unacceptable. Any other excuse is moot, and the information belongs to us, the people. It doesn't belong to the government. There's no reason they should have taken it off the table and held it away from us, right?" And that's the truth. I believe that, right? So I'm going to give it a few months before I'm
Yeah.
going to start talking about it and talking about it and talking about it, because they may be investigating something. They may be looking into it, but they do need to come out and tell us if they're investigating. That's all you got to say is, "Hey, we got the list. We've reviewed it. We're in conversations with others who are victims, and we're putting together cases on these people." Right? That's all I need to know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and then
So
you can release after.
yeah, I'm with you. I think it's actually a combination of all three.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that one of the downsides of moving so quickly is that there's a lot of other shit they're dealing with,
Oh,
and
for sure.
trying to find those. I think the biggest problem is if you do an investigation, how are you going to find the right fucking people, right? So you go through and you do this shit now, and they're weeding out people, and maybe you wait until the weeding out is you're kind of satisfied with where you're at, and then
You
you
got to
start.
have people that
Correct,
won't tank your investigation.
correct.
You have
And I
to.
think that might be part of the delay, to be honest.
I think you're probably right. I mean, I
Unless
I
they bring in some sort of special prosecutor to investigate it, that's somebody that's, whatever,
well,
that they
I
know. I
I
mean,
would
they're going
think
to
that
know
that's
that they're
going to
not on the
happen.
list, but
Right.
it's all the underlings, right? Like that guy doesn't do it all.
Here's what I know. All right, and I'm gonna
And
share this.
yeah, go ahead.
Um, I just pulled this up with so you have Cash Patel and
Hmm.
Dan Bongino, and you have others like Pete Hegseth and so on and so forth. Um, Cash Patel was making a lot of money on the talk show circuit.
Yeah.
He was making, a couple million a year. He's now making 250,000 or 290,000 or whatever it is as the director of FBI. Dan
Hmm.
Bongino was making 4.5 million a year with his podcast, the Bongino Report, his merchandise and all that. 4.5 million a year. He's making a damn good living.
Hmm.
Now he's making $250,000 a year.
Hmm.
Pete Hegseth, as a reporter at Fox News, is making 2.9 million a year. Now he's making $250,000 a year.
Yeah.
These people are taking significant cuts to their budget, not because they're freaking swamped, not because they're not going to do the right thing. They are taking a hit to their budget because they know what it means to represent and to serve the people, right?
Hmm.
Every one of these people has served their country before. So they're going back in service and they're taking massive budget cuts. That's why we have these people. We have Tulsi, serves their country, lieutenant colonel. Dan Bongino was a police officer, Secret Service agent. Pete Hegseth, prior military. You have Cash Patel, who doesn't fit into that regard, but he's a lawyer and went and worked for the freaking Justice Department before.
Hmm.
This guy knows, they know what they're doing. They have served the country, right? So I trust in the fact that they will do the right thing ultimately. And Pam Bondi too, they will do the right thing ultimately. Um, they just got to weed through the the shit
Yep,
to get there.
I agree.
I'm kind of excited. Um, because this is just coming in right now. Just in, Cash Patel and the FBI have launched an investigation into former director James
Oh yeah,
Comey spying on President Trump's 2016 campaign.
yeah.
Justice is coming. Um,
The honeypot operation he's ran off the books
yep,
that he
yeah.
basically admitted to in the talk circuit. So good luck, sir.
Um, and here's the other thing too, and I forgot to mention this as part of the Epstein thing. You would be a fool not to think that Epstein and P. Diddy aren't connected.
Yeah.
You'd be a fool not to think that Epstein, P. Diddy, and the Abercrombie thing aren't connected. Dan Bongino came out years ago and said that Hillary Clinton was with Epstein. And he came out recently and said he knows that Hillary Clinton, because he was on the protection detail, hung out with P. Diddy when P. Diddy was coming up.
Hmm.
All of them were together. So there's a lot more in this. This thing's way bigger than we could possibly imagine. And P. Diddy is rolling on people right now. You know he's going to.
Hmm.
You know he's turning over. He does not want to spend 30 years in prison.
Yeah.
You know he's turning people over. He's rolling. So this thing is way bigger than I think most of us could imagine.
Hmm.
And so let's just see where it goes. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think that when what I said, I think it's part of all three of the things that you were talking about, is that I think that you'll see a rush to get some of the stuff done in the Senate and the House, and
Yes.
that's why.
Yes.
Because once that's out, because we know that there's going to be senators and
Oh
congressmen
yeah,
on there.
on both
We know
sides.
that. We know that from all
Yep.
sides. Yep.
Yep. And they're going down.
Yeah,
So
the heat that they will take after that is going to be a matter of if they survive it, and then with the margins so slim, there would be absolute gridlock until there's elections held.
yeah, I don't know. I do know that I was up just like the listener who just texted me, and I mean, I multiple, not just one, multiple have. I I agree. Like I was frustrated, and it's how can you not be? You think you're going to
Mhm.
get this information? You've been waiting for years to get this information, and then all of a sudden, you don't get it. You
Yeah.
know,
Yep.
it sucks, but you know what? We got to let this hand play out. And like I told the listener, look at all the other things they're doing. Right? They are doing so much right now, um, in the way of cutting fraud, waste, and abuse. That we are finding programs that we now know what they are for, right? We know that media outlets are receiving hundreds of millions of dollars from USAID and other programs. We know that Elon just put out an email saying, "Hey, you got to tell me what you did. 5 things that you did last week if you're a government employee to justify your job." Well, we now know through Elon's own, he's putting out his own tweets saying, "Hey, listen, if they don't give me a tweet or
Hmm.
an email back this time around saying what they did, they'll have another chance. But what we're doing here is we're looking for fraudulent accounts in government services." We now know through Elon that they are using government employee IDs that they've made up and pensions and frickin' retirements. And what they are doing is they're harvesting money into other black funds. So that's what they're doing here. It's not like he's just trying to fire everybody wholesale if you know, aren't going to answer your question. Well, yeah, he might because he's going to think that you're a fraudulent account. They're going after fraud, waste, and abuse. If you just tell him what you did, he's probably not going to fire you unless you are one of the piece of shits who've come out and said, "I took my pros." Did you see that girl that said that in her tweet? Good freaking lord! This girl, she emailed Elon back, and she said, "One, from 7 o'clock to 11:45, I contemplated why you and Donald Trump like like basically said they're a bunch of pieces of shit." And then he said from 11 to whatever I cried, and then from whatever to whatever I took my Prozac and contemplating upping my dose, and then from whatever to whatever I uh, screamed at you, and then from whatever I contemplated why you guys are such pieces of shit. And okay, so you're getting fired. I mean, you're
Hmm.
not hanging around. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's it's ridiculous, but I don't know. What do you do, right? But that's what they're trying to find the fraud. They're trying to cut the waste. They're trying to cut the abuse. And um, we've got a lot. We see what they're doing. We know what they're doing, right? So you have to kind of say, all right, that's happening, right? They can't do everything all at once. It's got to be
Mhm.
incremental. And like you said, they got to get rid of the people that are swampy that will ruin what they're trying to do, right? I mean, they can't be sabotaged, or the same thing will happen that happened last time to Trump. He gets 2 years of a presidency where he can get stuff done and 2 years where he can't. So, yeah, they have to do it the right way, and that's the only way.
Yeah, I agree. It's gonna hurt, but it's just gotta be, you have to, right? Like, so I think I sent it to you. A buddy of mine had posted something about
Yeah,
he's
you're
spent years in the government, and he said, like, look, we've all been there for people that have tried to cut the fraud and waste and abuse, and we've all government workers have seen the waste and abuse and laugh about it. Like, why the fuck do we need these? Uh, we For one example, we got pursuit vehicles when I worked for Customs and Border Protection. Brand new Charger when they bailed out all the auto, when Obama bailed out all the auto industry.
right.
Brand new Chargers. Customs and
What do you
Border
need?
Protection doesn't pursue.
Right. Why do you need
We
that?
got pursuit vehicle.
Oh,
Every port. It was a truck that pulled up. There was 10 of them on there, and
just in
every
case.
port got one.
Just in
Right?
case.
Just to pursue when you're not legally allowed to pursue. Uh, but there's stories all over the place, and he was talking about how, like, this isn't, it hasn't worked before. Lots of administrations on both parties have tried to cut it, and it's
Mhm.
not working. So maybe it's time to try something different. And it's going to hurt. It's going to suck, but we're going to find it. And this maybe is the way.
Well, you know what I don't think anybody was ready for, right? Was the level
Yeah,
of abuse.
right.
And I love that the media is like, well, where's the fraud? What do you mean?
Yeah,
Like if you're
yeah.
sending all this money all over the place, you don't think that's fraud? Like I'm being frauded as a taxpayer. My money is being sent places that I never wanted it to go to. I want that money coming back to me. Make
Mhm.
my life easier. I'm fucking American. I don't give a shit about Zamibia or whatever the fuck it is. Zimbabwe, Namibia, whatever. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Like, and that may sound ruthless and cold. I don't know them and they don't know me, right? I don't
Yeah.
have to care about people I don't know. I'm sorry. Do I want them to have a great life? Yeah, sure. I would love for them to have a great life. Would we set up a program that I would, if you could set up a program to help people, that money actually went there and we didn't have our own snakes in Washington and our own fucking contractors and NGOs pocketing 75% of the money? Sure, we could maybe talk about something like that. But why the fuck are we, the blue collar life individuals, living paycheck to paycheck, busting our fucking asses day in and day out? Why are we funding your fucking taxpayer adventures and which you get to come back from and take money from? You're robbing us. That's fraudulent to me, right? Well, we're back from our first intermission, Pat, and I'm sorry it took me so long to get back, but I just chased off a pack of coyotes from my chickens,
Hmm.
and I think I probably lost maybe four chickens.
Oh, really? That
I'm pretty
sucks.
sure there's fucking feathers everywhere.
Ugh.
Dogs started going ape shit, and I ran upstairs. And usually I keep my 22 by my back door because
Hmm.
we've had problems with the coyotes and fox and shit for the last couple of years with chickens and stuff. And you've seen how many chickens we have. I mean, we got a pile. And since it's been nice out, they've been out of their run, and we have grass again. And they're eating whatever vegetation that they can.
Hmm.
And all of a sudden, freaking lady, my German Shepherd, just goes ballistic. And when she goes ballistic, and you go up our stairs, she's either waiting at the front window that looks out over the driveway or the deck window looking out over the deck, and at the back of our property is where the chickens are. Motherfucker, she was just going absolutely apeshit at the back door. So I'm like, fuck, do I let her out? Well, if I let her out, she could chase these coyotes and they could kill her. So I'm not going to let her out.
Hmm.
Didn't have my 22 down by the door. I had to run to my garage, tried to unlock my gun cabinet, forgot that my keys were in my house in my dresser drawer in my bedroom, like my nightstand drawer. Ran back in there, pissed my wife off, getting the keys. She's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "There's coyotes." Had to grab keys, go back to the garage, unlock the garage, get the 22, went outside, and they were probably, I don't know, probably 8 of them that I could see. And I tried to shoot at one of them, and I'm sure I missed because it's dark out there and I don't have anything on my 22. So I fired one shot, I missed, I'm sure, and then they scattered, and then they were yipping,
Hmm.
and I was like, well, fuck, like, are they trying to circle back around? Like they know there's birds here.
Hmm.
So I found the feathers, and they were yipping because there was a chicken that was still alive that they grabbed and drug into the back of the woods. So I had to put that bird down. Just a pain in the ass. I put that bird down. Then I found more feathers. So they got a goldie, they got a white one, and they got a black one.
Hmm.
3 for sure because there's 3 different sets of feathers. So I'm sure I'll find more that they got in the morning because there's not just 8 coyotes and a couple chickens that they get. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it sucks, but that's the name of the game living in the country.
Hmm.
If I would have had my gun by my back door, I would have been able to probably knock out a couple coyote and save some birds, maybe, but it didn't. And they ballsy. They went into because I have a chicken run attached to my coop, so a run,
Hmm.
and we left the door open. Right, we
Hmm.
haven't had problems with coyotes for a while, so I left the door open on the run, and they went in the run into the coop. At least one coyote went into the coop and pushed birds out of the coop while the rest were waiting outside the run.
Hmm.
So as the birds ran out of the run, I think they were trying to snatch birds there because I have birds that went under my deck. I have birds that went under my daughter's trampoline
Yeah.
because we have like a little trampoline in the backyard too. And I don't know,
Hmm.
pain in the ass. So I'm
Yeah.
sitting there like, I can't be doing this right now. These effing birds and whatever. So we'll see the damage in the morning. I'm sure it's going to be 3 birds for sure,
Yeah.
maybe more. So we'll have to see what that comes down to.
Did you put them in the run?
They're in the run. I locked them in. There's probably 3 that are underneath the deck, and I'm not worried about them underneath the deck because they can get up like underneath where the
Hmm.
end panel of the deck is, so they
Yeah.
roost on it. So I don't think a coyote can find them because there's still snow that I've pushed off either side of the deck. So they can like go to the bottom of the deck, jump up on that end panel, and like weave their way in. And I don't
Sure.
think a coyote can get underneath there. So they'll be safe under there. And then in the morning, I'll have to get them back in the run. Stupid me for opening the run and thinking that it was good. A
Hmm.
couple nice days in a row. I'm sure all these coyotes are coming out of their dens, like thinking they're gonna go hunt because every animal I'm sure on the planet is coming out right now. So
Yeah.
my bad. Long story short, Mama Bird, the wife is not real happy with me right now because I just got some of her freaking ridiculously expensive, you know, have to look pretty chickens killed. So
Hmm.
my bad.
Oh well.
Yeah, that's not like we don't have another 45 of them. So
There you go.
that, yeah, they're laying eggs again, so that's good.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, not that egg prices are. Well, it is that egg prices are freaking ridiculous, but there's that.
Hmm.
So, anyways, we're back. What are we talking about now?
Well, what do you got?
Uh, well, we talk a little bit about Dan Bongino.
Hmm.
I'm really excited that he's the deputy director of the FBI. I think it has a purpose, right? Because he's written 3 books on the Russia collusion hoax.
Hmm.
So Adam Schiff has to be absolutely shitting himself.
Well, he got pardoned,
Um,
didn't he? So,
yep, but now there's talk that maybe that's not gonna hold up, and I don't know if it's true or not. But Elon posted some stuff about. Oh, I wish I would have kept it. Maybe I sent it to you.
I don't remember that one.
Elon posted another guy's tweet about uh, we need to take a serious look. It was like somebody who's it's a legal scholar said we need to take a serious look at those pardons. They don't cover treason. And so Elon reposted it and said something to the effect of like, I think you're right. We should take a look type thing. And so I don't know, maybe there is something in the works, maybe there's not. I don't know if there's just wordplay. I don't know if it's word judo. I don't know if it's just like
Hmm.
back the hell off all you crazy liberal Democrats, get off our DOGE case because we're doing our thing.
Yeah.
But you've said it many times before. Even if you're pardoned, it doesn't mean that you can't go and be tried. You just can't be convicted, right? You can't use your Fifth Amendment anymore because there's no crime
Correct.
associated with it.
Yeah.
So, um, even if they lay it bare, I think maybe that's something they're looking into, and that's why
Mm-hmm.
Bongino, I think, is being brought in because he had that entire Russia collusion bullshit on lockdown. And on top of that, Adam Schiff might get away with it, but James Comey wasn't pardoned. Andy McCabe wasn't pardoned. Peter Strzok wasn't pardoned. Lisa
Mm-hmm.
Page wasn't pardoned.
Correct.
Um, none of the FBI agents who took part in this knowingly and falsely were pardoned, right? And then there's several other people who were, Glenn Simpson from Fusion GPS. He
Mm-hmm.
wasn't pardoned. I mean, all these people who took part in this thing, including media entities who peddled it and knew it was false. So we'll see. We'll see where they go with it. But yeah, the Democrats, Adam Schiff is not liking it. He's gonna get exposed. Swalwell, did you just see that video with Swalwell where
Yeah.
he's getting exposed for all the crap he was saying? I mean, there's a lot of crap coming out now. Dan Crenshaw, did you see that video? The Tucker
Mm-hmm.
Carlson video?
Mm-hmm.
What? There's our buddy Dan Crenshaw, you
Mm-hmm.
fucking punk. Uh
Yeah. Who he was a Marjorie Taylor Greene asked on Twitter, like, "Hey, did you
did
really
you
say
really?
this?" And he's like,
He
"LOL,
said,
no."
LOL, no. Yeah,
And then someone posted the video of him actually saying it twice.
right, right. And not just he talked about what, hey, have you ever met Tucker? And he does the whole, no, we've gone back and forth on Twitter a couple times, but if I'll see him, I'll fucking kill him.
Mm-hmm.
No, for real. No, seriously, I'd fucking kill him. He's a terrible human, terrible person, or something like that, is what he
Mm-hmm.
said. Um, yeah, that's disturbing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Um, what does he have against Tucker? I guess that's what I want to know.
I don't know.
What does this man have? Why does he hate this man so much that he's going to say to a journalist, no less, that if I see him,
You
I'll
were
fucking
just
kill him?
on tape. Like, you had to know that they could still be rolling. Like,
Right.
this was
Like
a recorded interview.
what are you
I don't know.
thinking?
No, I don't know.
Um, and the only thing I can think, but we all know he's bought and paid for. He's going to the World Economic Forum meetings.
Yeah.
He's going to Davos. He's meeting with all these cronies. He's bought and paid for. He's anti-Trump. He's
Mm-hmm.
been anti-Trump from the beginning, but he's not. He's you know what he is? He's military-industrial complex Republican, right? He's pro-Ukraine war. He's anti-Trump. Uh, you know, talked about Trump and Russia, and he talked about all that crap. He's doesn't believe there's any election interference whatsoever. Um, he's just a war hawk. That's what he is. He would fall right into that category that if Trump didn't come along and reset the stage, he would have had a shot at the presidency eventually,
Mm-hmm.
being a fucking war hawk and trying to rely on his wounded warrior status and the fact that he was a Navy SEAL. And I think he just cooked himself in this one because what are you doing, bro? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised at how he has turned out. I feel like most people.
Yeah, I'm. It's disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I posted on his after this thing. I left a post on his Twitter, and I was like, when you first hit, the halls of Congress, I was really excited because you were a wounded warrior from an elite unit, and we needed that in Washington to stand up and like bring that kind of honor and selfless service and sacrifice and duty and integrity to you know to Washington. And I'm like, who owns you now? Like who bought you? Who owns you?
Mm-hmm.
That is not what any of us who put on the uniform. We're just not like that, right?
Yeah.
And I can't figure out if he really believes what he's saying, the shit he's saying. And then there's parts of me that have seen what he's done to other SEALs, like in interviews from other SEALs, like people that have been on the Sean Ryan show and all that jazz. And I don't know who he is. I don't know what he's about, but I do know that I thoroughly believe he's bought and paid for now, and that's too bad.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that
what
sucks.
what an idiot! Did you really say that you're gonna kill Tucker Carlson? LOL. No.
Mm-hmm.
Here, 20 minutes later, here's the video of you saying you would I'd
Yeah.
fucking kill him.
Yeah.
20 minutes later, like, congratulations, you moron.
Yeah. Stupid.
Yeah, it is stupid. Oh well, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's something new I wanted to throw at you. So you know how Bill Gates, um, he's doing the lab grown food, the lab grown meat.
Oh yeah.
Um, there's a tweet right now from Died Suddenly, and Died Suddenly is like the ones who have gone after the vax and pointing out
Mm-hmm.
all the flaws with vaccinations. They just posted this. Everything Bill Gates touches turns to cancer. New study finds Bill Gates' lab grown meat causes cancer in humans.
Shocking.
Yeah, and it's been double fact checked. So hmm, there is a study that actually says, yeah, unreal.
Yeah. We'll still get a strike for that.
I'm sure. Ooh, here's another one that just came out. AG Pam Bondi has scheduled the release of the Epstein client files at 12 noon on 20 or 2/29/25. Stay tuned for more updates.
229.25. So
Yep,
leap year?
Monday. Leap year, yeah.
That's leap year. There is no 229.
Oh, so this is full shit.
Yeah. It's
2/29/25.
228 and 3-1.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's full of shit.
Yeah.
That was a
You're so
debunk on your
excited.
part. I was. I was.
229 doesn't happen this year.
No, it doesn't happen.
Son of a bitch.
Ain't that a shame? It's a really good looking picture of her though.
Yeah, she's not terrible.
She kind of looks like you wouldn't want to fucking fuck with her. Like you
No.
cross paths with her, she's gonna leave you hurting.
Yeah.
Slightly terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
And to be as intelligent as she is, that's what it
She.
is. There's a quiet evil there. I think I'm seeing it's a quiet
Mm-hmm.
she knows when she walks into the room, she is by far the smartest person in the room. That's what it is. That's what the look is. That's funny. So that's a leap year? No, it's not a leap year. This
Yeah.
is debunked right off the bat.
Leap years aren't on odd years. I know that much.
Yeah. What do we got?
Let's see. Trump signed an executive order to force hospitals to show real prices.
Yeah, so see, he did that before too in his last term. Do you remember that? It was part of his lowering costs plan. He had
Mm-hmm.
basically he wanted them to explain you had to have an itemized bill before you even had any work done. And it changed. And I don't know if it changed during the Biden admin or if it never really hit or never fully hit or maybe it never passed. I don't know, but this was something he was working on in his previous administration.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm sure that was just an EO and Biden got rid of it. So,
Probably. Um, it's freaking ridiculous how much that's what I guess I don't understand it. If one president comes in and he's doing stuff and it's working, right? Then another president comes in and he's just like, well, I'm from the other party. I got to undo all this. You know what I mean?
mm-hmm.
Why can't you just leave the things in place that are working? They elected you because they didn't like the other guy.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't mean you just have to tear everything down and get rid of everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then re-implement your stuff. Like it just
Mm-hmm.
Washington just drives me insane.
Yeah. Did you see,
This,
sorry, did you got something from the last one?
no, I was just gonna say the Zelensky and the mineral rights. Did you
Oh,
say
yeah. No, go ahead.
so? Zelensky has decided to give us the mineral rights for
Yeah, I
for
didn't,
Afghanistan.
I haven't seen so it was a draft that he agreed to. I guess it was like 50%, but it doesn't say, I'm not sure what all it is. So we'll have to look at that once he gets, I think he's coming Friday.
To sign it.
So, yeah.
It
So,
seems weird to me, right? Like he really fought back and turned his back on Trump initially, right?
hmm
I mean, they were talking peace deals and all sorts of stuff, and then all of a sudden, Putin is saying that he's going to give us 2,000 or 2 tons or 2,000 tons of aluminum or whatever it is, and Zelensky's like, "And I'll give you 50% of the mineral rights to Afghan
hmm
or to Ukraine."
hmm
Like, what the? How the hell did you get that so fast?
Well, the whole mineralites thing cracks me up because it was Zelensky's idea. And then
Yeah. And then he went back
he
on it.
pitched it. And then like no one was going to take him up on that. No Democrat was going to, no, we'll just give it to you. And then Trump's like, okay. And so then it was like, well, wait a second. Like we can't, but the investment's all ours. And then they're not. So what I had heard was like, look, we're not taking everything. We're going to invest in it and do all this stuff to get it out of the ground. Right.
Right.
And they're still going to benefit from that. Like they're
Right.
getting nothing now.
Right. It's
So
worthless to them now. You have
yes,
no
correct. They don't
infrastructure.
have the infrastructure to do it.
Hmm.
So I don't know. The one that I had was the Las Vegas police getting Cybertrucks. They got 10 Cybertrucks for
Oh
patrol
boy.
and SWAT use,
Okay.
thanks to a donor.
Okay.
Uh, says the Cybertrucks, the bulletproof trucks will keep officers safe and serve as a recruitment tool. Interesting.
Yeah. Well, as long as you don't put a bunch of fireworks in the back of them.
Yeah.
Too soon? Too
Um,
soon?
a little too soon.
Uh, this is Christopher Rufo. I wanted to say this one. I don't know if you've seen this. CIA officials celebrating the death of Christian leader Pat Robertson.
Oh, I did see that.
What the
That was
fuck,
in
dude?
one of the chats. Like, there's gonna be
Yes.
a lot of shit about that chat. So, did we talk about that? Yeah,
No.
no. So
No.
that chat, the sex chat,
The sex chat,
the
the trans
trans, like
dude.
all that stuff. So she came out today and said that all 100 plus of them have been fired and their
Yeah, I
security
saw that.
clearances revoked. Said
Tulsi
that
did,
on,
right?
yeah, I think she said on Waters show, Jesse Waters show.
Yep. Yep. That's where it was.
Um, and so then there was this other thing that, another chat room that they had on this secure network,
Hmm.
uh, was they were celebrating the death of that guy.
It's unbelievable,
Mm-hmm.
bro.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, this is the CIA. So, I mean, what the fuck, dude? Your job, your mission statement at the CIA is to protect the homeland by gaining intel and assets abroad. And here you are in a CIA private server talking about trans sex and hating Christians.
Mm-hmm.
What in the fuck is wrong with the CIA? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's 100 of them that just got fired. 100.
Mm-hmm.
What in the fuck?
Well,
Who's hiring these people?
that wasn't just CIA, right? Like that was across all. So like this chat room is across all
I thought
intelligence
it was internal.
community.
I don't know. I thought it was internal.
No, well, so it kind of is, but it's all the intelligence community, like all the groups that she's in charge
So
of.
they all share like an intranet.
Yeah, they can have like
Okay.
there's like chat rooms where they can all talk
That
and
is
it's all
fucked
secure.
up.
And so these were like not just CIA. This was like literally just intelligence community, IC
What in
groups.
the fuck, bro?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Okay, I get it. All right. I just watched an interview with Riley Gaines, Piers Morgan, and some trans woman
Oh
who's a
yeah.
black dude,
Yeah.
right? And it was about the Olympics, right?
Mm-hmm.
Men, trans women being able to partake in female sports in the Olympics. It's
Yep.
not fair. And
Yeah.
Riley Gaines is saying it's not fair. And then Riley Gaines turns to this fucking imbecile and says, okay, well, what about the Paralympics? Should we just, get rid of the Paralympics and roll that into the regular Olympics? And this trans moron says, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
So
That's at that point Pierce Morgan goes, okay, well what did he
you're
say?
insane.
You're insane.
You're
Yeah.
you're
You're
insane.
insane. Yeah.
You're clinically insane.
Yeah.
If you honestly believe that, you are
And
insane.
then they
And then she
muted
tried to
them.
defend it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Well,
muted it.
they tried to defend it. Like, this is the type of crazy shit that we have in our CIA. Like,
Yeah.
it's one thing to be some fucking, mouth breather that is trans that is so far gone and so fucking crazy that you are going to say whatever you can to protect your stupid fucking beliefs and ideals, right? Whatever. That's on you. I don't care. I will still respect you. I will still be kind to you. I'll still be nice to you. I can still be friends with you.
Mm-hmm.
But the fucking ridiculous statement of, yeah, we should merge the Olympics with the Paralympics. So you could put the how would this be, Pat? We're gonna go to the USA hockey tryouts, and those four dudes over there on a sled who are paralyzed, who are gonna fucking try to skate with fucking Connor McDavid in the fucking Olympics. Well, hey boys, I'm sorry. You guys just have enough
You got
legs to make
you
the
got
fucking cut.
you got cut.
Right. Like what the fuck are you serious? And these are the same types of people we're putting in our CIA and our intelligence fucking agencies. Is it any wonder that what happened to Donald Trump was allowed to happen his
Mm-hmm.
first time around? Is it
Mm-hmm.
any wonder the bullshit that happened during COVID? Like these people are fucking insane, bro.
Yeah.
Some of them are absolutely fucking insane. And I can't tell if they're trying to be because they just are so hell bent on their grift or their agenda. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
win at all costs, which
Mm-hmm.
I get. I don't believe in it, but I get it. If that's your fucking prerogative, hey man, good on you. Or are you just that insane? Are you that fucking nuts?
Well, I think some of it is that yes, they are that insane, but I think a bigger part is they're just playing the role.
That's what I wonder. Like, is
Yeah,
just them playing a role?
especially when they're paid to come on.
Yeah,
Like Pierce's
that's why
show,
I'm
they
thinking
get
it.
paid, right? I'm pretty sure they pay most of their
I
guests to
mean,
come on.
do you think like they're just going out and finding the craziest person they can to come on? So just
No, they're literally just they'll get a hold of somebody and be like, "Hey, you want to take this stance today?" Okay.
mm,
Like we talked about that before. Someone had said like they literally send you a thing like, "Hey, I've got someone that's gonna argue this side. Can you argue this side today on the show?"
so fucked up. Yeah, we did
Yeah,
talk about that a while
yeah.
ago. That's so fucked up, man.
Mm-hmm.
I just
So disingenuous.
Yeah, that's exactly it, bro. Like
Mm-hmm.
what you can't believe anything anymore.
Yeah.
Anything.
Maybe you get a
It's
bonus if you say something so crazy he calls you insane because it's gonna go viral.
right.
You know,
Right.
like what's
Yeah.
in those contracts?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I want to know. The shit is just it whatever. Uh the Judge Amir Ali, did you see this?
Yes.
So Judge Amir Ali is a Biden appointed
Yeah, I did
judge.
see this. I did see this one.
He ordered Trump to release the billions in foreign aid that he was
Mm-hmm.
withholding within the next 48 hours,
Mm-hmm.
or Trump can face what I don't know what it would be
Nothing. He can face
nothing. I mean,
nothing. Yeah.
there's nothing he can do,
Yeah.
but he's ordering Trump to release the billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Now there's articles of impeachment. Representative Andy Ogles filed articles of impeachment against this judge,
Mm-hmm.
and guess what? He's coming off the board. How is it that any judge would think that they would have the ability?
What do you mean he's coming off the board?
They're going to impeach his ass. He's
Oh,
he's
yeah.
going to be
Hopefully.
he's
Hopefully.
he's coming down, bro. Like who? How do you? You're an activist judge. The president, using his powers of the executive, can cancel whatever the fuck he wants to cancel, and he did, as long as it's executive powers that he's using an executive budget. He can do whatever he wants. Now, if it's something that was passed in a bill, you can't. Congress owns it. Congress has the power of the purse. So this judge is like, no, you're going to release that foreign aid. No, there's nothing saying that the foreign aid it wasn't passed by Congress. Budget bills or budget packages of spending going to Ukraine passed by Congress. Guess what? That still goes to Ukraine. It's just extra money that Biden wants to send that didn't clear Congress doesn't go to Ukraine. That can be stopped,
Mm-hmm.
or Trump, or anyone.
Yeah.
And this guy just seems
Well,
he's going to jump in here and
yeah, but that's because they can, right? They're never held accountable. So it's going to
yeah,
take these articles of impeachment against several of them and
yeah,
be successful for them
right.
for other judges to realize like you're not doing this anymore.
But I just can't believe we've ever. I guess this is. I mean,
It's never
correct me
been
if I'm
like
wrong.
this though.
That's what I'm saying. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
This is the first, right, where we have seen lawfare at all levels now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I mean, we haven't seen that really
I
before,
mean,
right? I
you
mean,
could argue it before, but there was never really solid evidence of, you can of
To this
activist
magnitude,
judges.
though?
That's what I'm saying. Like there before you always said it, right? Like there's always a
Yeah.
judge that
Yeah,
his
one
rulings
or
were all
two. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
typical. Like
Yeah, yeah. I get you.
you knew how that judge was going to rule
Right.
because
The Fifth
of
Circuit.
they are right.
Yeah.
The crazy ninth, they used to call it,
Yeah.
the ninth court. Um,
Yeah.
but they now, with it being so blatant, like I just, there's nowhere to hide now. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. That's absolutely true. It's out in your face. And there's so many, right?
Hmm.
That the to the extent of it is it's there's so many, and that's the problem. You can't weaponize the justice system, or we have no justice. I don't know.
Yeah.
This is I'm just I'm kind of chuckling over so many things that have come out. Um, there's a lady who went on CNN to complain about the 5 things she has to say she did. Um, she's like really mad that she had to do the 5 things from Elon because they're trying to find the fraud, right?
Hmm.
And so she was like, I only have a week to do this to tell them the 5 things. And she's on CNN, with whoever this lady is on CNN. I don't even know who this is. Um, maybe it's whoever. It's not Caitlin Collins. I don't know who it is, but she's on CNN right now, and I've got it pulled up. But the she's doing the interview, pissing and moaning about the 5 things, right? And the actual tweet for it says, "So let me get this straight. You're complaining about having to write an email about the 5 things you did this week, and you don't have time during your busy schedule. Yet you had time to go on CNN and talk for 20 minutes
Nailed
in a
it.
segment.
Yeah.
Like, come on, lady, like for
Yeah.
real."
Hmm.
And then the next one was playing off of that one. Let me get this straight. People living in tents kicked out of hotels by FEMA into the cold, 3 mile long lines for propane in Western North Carolina. Not newsworthy for CNN. A federal employee upset about getting an email asking what she did last week. Totally newsworthy for CNN.
Hmm.
Yeah, that says it all.
Hmm.
That says it all. Like what you're covering, what you're choosing to cover it's ridiculous. Jesus fucking Christ. All this stuff is just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. The whining about this email is incredible.
Uh Pramila J Paul or Jai Paul or whatever her name is. Um one of the Democrats, she's talking about illegals and how we shouldn't be deporting them. Quote, look at the food on your table. Think about who picked it.
Oh
How do you
yeah.
think that food got there?
Yeah. Just
Lady,
incredible.
you're a Democrat. You should not be talking about people picking things. You should probably shut the fuck
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
Just
Listen,
clueless
if we deport them, we're gonna actually have to pay people real wages to pick this food. What are you
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
What are you saying?
What are you saying right now?
Just
You're
say it.
using
Just use it
slave
all.
labor.
Just
Come on,
yeah.
say it. Come
What
on
is
and
it?
say it. Slave labor, Democrats and slaves. Oh, weird. Not
Yeah.
your first time? Oh, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They're so fucking ignorant to the, history. They just don't get it. Here's another one I sent to you. British transgender police officers are now allowed to strip search female
Oh
citizens
yeah,
under the new guidance of the
dude.
law.
What in the hell?
I know, right?
Like you're just waiting for a problem. Like is that what they're
Well,
trying to do? They're trying to get as crazy as they can so there's a problem so they get sued and then there's like that, okay, now we can't do this because the court said no. Is that what it
I
is?
I don't even know anymore, man. They're so fucked up. The yeah, I don't know. The people we have in power and the people we have making rules all around the world
Mm-hmm.
are off their fucking rockers right now. You know what I mean? And we talked about it. I mean, George Soros spread that money around very, very well, and he got people all over the place to do
Mm-hmm.
things. This is what happens when you buy politicians and you buy radical politicians and you're trying to implement color revolutions. It's what happens when you open the borders of countries and flood them with other, you know, unfortunately other cultures, right? You tank the culture that's there, and finally the culture is completely tanked, and there is no Western culture there that was built off, Judeo-Christian values, and you've done the most damage you can to the family unit, which you're seeing here.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, you can get it to where you can do something so perverted, like, I don't know, this type of shit, where it's okay for a guy dressed in women's clothing to pretend that they're a female and then to go ahead and put their hands on another female because you're crazy enough to believe they're female. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Um, yeah, it's how far gone are you as a society when you're that, that's your thing.
Yeah. Here's another crazy one that we can talk about, that Chinese thing, the robots with the mini nukes.
Dude. So
Hydronet.
they're not nukes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they call them mini nukes. They don't have the
They're
radiation effect,
yeah,
right?
they're
They're the
thermobaric.
thermobaric.
They're
Yeah.
thermobaric, which means they will fuck your world up.
Mm-hmm.
They're not nuke. They're not a fission bomb. They're that's scary as shit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that one. That's terrifying.
Well, so that when we talked about the robot dogs before with the mounted
Yeah,
weapons
yeah,
on them.
yeah, yeah.
So now
The
they're saying
automatic headshot.
yep. Yep. Let's pair that with the AI technology that never misses on headshots. And
Yes.
then now they're saying that China can attach what the article said, the mini nukes with the thermobaric bombs.
So
Um,
just fucking
so that they can go in, with the robot dogs that, whatever, and then they can, like, it goes
fuck
through, these bombs go through
that.
15 feet of concrete.
Yes.
So
They
like it just
they turn all the air around you into fire,
into fire.
right?
Yeah, it sucks
So
out all the oxygen.
I mean, it just fucking destroys everything it comes across. And
Hmm.
um I don't even know how the fuck you would fight, like, if they dropped 10 of those things into the
EMPs.
middle of.
That's how you fight
That's
them.
it. That's all. That's it.
That's all you
That's
can
it.
do.
But then if you're going to EMP an area, you're going to kill your equipment
Of
too,
course.
right?
Yep.
So, I mean, I the only thing assured mutual destruction. That's it. Like, you'd have to,
Hmm.
if they use one of these, you would have to fucking drop a thermobaric bomb on them and be like, all right, motherfucker, every time you want to use it, we're going to use one too. And honestly, dude, I'm going to say it right now, China's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
A war with China would
Hmm.
end up with millions of casualties. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know, and the Chinese history isn't my strong suit. I know they fought a little bit in Syria, uh, but I don't know much beyond that, right? Like, and that was recent. That's over the last, 5-10 years that they fought in Syria. Uh, and really, it was just a rescue operation to rescue citizens that were Chinese that were being, um, held by rebel forces. But I really don't know what the hell the Chinese have done in terms of war. So, damn sure it's not as extensive as the United States,
Hmm.
right? Mostly of our doing our own making, but whatever. Uh, but the scary part of that for me is they've never been forced to make decisions that are difficult, right? So, and what I mean by that is, like, okay, during World War II, we made the decision to drop 2 atomic bombs, right? Um, and they could be forced at that decision, and they could think just like we did at the time that it was necessary, and I think they would do it.
Hmm.
You know what I
I
mean?
agree.
I
Yeah.
could totally see them putting 4 or 5 of these fucking robot dogs on the ground and fucking taking these things right up to a, fort that we're on, a camp, a fob, whatever, and launching a fucking thermobaric bomb into that area and kill hundreds of troops
Hmm.
in one go.
Remember, they're
That
buying all the farmland around all the bases.
that's fucking terrifying. That's what I'm saying, bro. It's
Hold on.
terrifying.
It's gonna get worse for you in a second.
Oh, okay.
So now HydroNet, Liquid Robotics, and Starlink demo. Underwater networking goes next level. Okay.
What
So
the fuck?
HydroNet and Liquid Robotics successfully integrated AI-powered underwater mesh networking with Starlink satellite internet. Okay. So now it enables real-time data transfer from autonomous ocean robots.
Oh, that's nice.
The demonstration connected three-wave gliders, robotic ocean vehicles, and an MIT Sea Beaver 2 UUV, an uncrewed underwater vehicle, into an adaptive mesh network. The system allows seamless underwater communication with Starlink transmitting the data to operators on land. They have now are able to network underneath the water.
Is this China doing this?
No, well,
This has got to be us.
well, MIT is us, obviously, and
Yeah.
so is Starlink. So this has got to be us.
This, I mean, this
It
is actually
enabled
pretty.
real-time command control and opens new possibilities for ocean surveillance,
That's what I
environmental
was.
monitoring, and naval defense.
That's exactly what I was going to say. This is something where, if you can find, if you can create an artificial intelligence that's looking for certain parameters, most people don't realize that almost all submarines now are stealth and they are run off of um, nuclear reactors, right?
Yeah.
And so when the nuclear reactor, when they drop the rods in the nuclear reactor, they run off battery power and they're virtually silent. You
Hmm.
can't fricking. So every reactor basically goes through the fission process until you put control rods in it, and then the control rods basically kill the nuclear process, right? Kills the fission process.
Hmm.
But they have batteries on their subs that make them run the propulsion system as silent. That's how they do their whole stealth moving, and it's really hard to find those underwater. So if you have these advanced robots that are taught with AI technology to find those things that they're looking for with certain sensors, right?
Hmm.
Battery output and things like that. Um, you could now put a whole bunch of shit in the ocean that you could find everybody's subs, track it live time,
Hmm.
get that to the ground forces on the ground to be ready for a sub to come up, or the Air Force, because we have planes that hunt subs.
Hmm.
And as soon as that sub came up to launch, because I think a sub has to be a certain amount of feet under the water to launch its Tomahawks or to launch its
Hmm.
some of the missiles that come from sea to air.
Hmm.
So you could still drop munitions on it. Um, so that'd be really freaking cool on that purpose. And then the other thing, you know what's coming. If they're doing this, the other thing they're going to do is basically the AI controlled first person killing drone, right? They're kamikaze drones, right? And those things are going to hunt. I mean, they're going to lock onto you, they're going to find you, and they're going to use AI technology, and they're going to roll right up onto your ship. And, as much
Yeah.
as the Chinese can use thermobaric, warheads on land, I'm sure we're going to have some kind of weapon that'll completely obliterate a sub or a ship under
Correct.
sea. So now I feel a hell of a lot better, right? I mean, uh, I would imagine getting, if this is the thing, if this is between like our defense industry and then Elon and Starlink, if they have total control of the ocean, good luck getting here, China. You can't fly here. We would shoot you down. Uh,
Hmm. Yeah,
your
I guess.
thermobaric robot drones have to be on a ship to get here, and they're just going to sink your ship, you know, way
Well,
the
and
hell out in
that's
the ocean.
the important part of the Panama Canal and the Greenland
Absolutely.
stuff and all that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
And I guess when you're playing 4D chess, as the Trump administration is, it helps to see well ahead of your opponent, right? China was linking with Russia, and they were trying to get as much of the Arctic that they could,
Hmm.
and they were doing it for strategic purposes for both military transit and economic transit, and taking control of the Panama Canal for them was another major uh,
Hmm.
route of transit. On top of that, China working with the cartels that we now know they were working with the cartels was a giant, you know, step for them.
Mm-hmm.
and being in Afghanistan for them. I mean, they were doing all their, strategic command initiatives, and they've subscribed to it's called Total War. That's the package they're subscribed to with us is Total War,
Yeah.
right? They want to buy up all our steel. They want to buy up all of our grain and products. They want to buy up all of our farmlands. They have subscribed to a total war, an economic war, an ideological war, a trade war, uh, and when time comes, they will launch a physical attack against the United States. That's their plan. It's a total war package.
Yeah.
It's nice that we have Trump who sees through it and he's, thinking 5, 10 steps ahead to try to cut these things off. And it's not just Trump. I shouldn't just give Trump all the credit. Trump is
Mm-hmm.
smart enough to surround himself with very smart people,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Um, and if people haven't noticed by now, if you're not performing, Trump gets rid of you.
Mm-hmm.
So he wants people that are performing. I mean, who would have thought 5 years ago Trump and Elon would be really good friends? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Right. For sure.
And Trump loves Elon. Trump thinks he's great. Trump's
Mm-hmm.
like Trump had a tweet the other day and it was talking about how Elon sleeps in his office at the White House.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yep. They got a bed for him.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
insane. He's working that hard
Mm-hmm.
to get rid of the waste and the corruption. Um, that how I don't know how you can hate somebody like that, whether you're
Mm-hmm.
on the left or the right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This guy's a
It's
billionaire.
mm-hmm.
He could be partying and doing whatever the hell he wants, wherever he wants. Instead, he's working his ass off day in and day out at the White House to cut the waste, fraud, and abuse that is being ripped away from the American taxpayer in terms of dollars. How do you not appreciate the hell out of a guy like that?
But to be honest, he's a grifter.
You think?
Elon is. He doesn't own a home. He just stays at he doesn't.
Yeah. Yeah, he just
He just stays
shacks
with
up somewhere.
people. Yes. So now for the
Ah,
next 4 months, there's an article that he's going to be working nonstop on DOGE at the White House and staying there most nights. Like, it's funny. Like when you like, dude's the richest man in the world doesn't own a home.
you think
Like it's
I'm sure
crazy.
it's because he's how eccentric he
Well, he's
is.
all
You
over
know what
the
I mean?
place,
Right. He
right?
can't
Like
stay
he's
in one
on
spot.
Friday. He's going to be in Texas at the. I'm sure at the next
Witchcraft event? Yeah.
yeah, what the fuck is Starship launch is on Friday. So he'll be there, but like he's everywhere, right? So like he's never staying in the same spot except the
Just
White
have one
House
blow
apparently.
up. How the fuck are they having another one already?
Huh?
Didn't they just have a Starship blow up like 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, dude, they build like their
Are they just cranking these
their
things out like
their
mad?
plan is to at some point they'll be building one a week.
Christ. The money. The money this
Yeah.
motherfucker has. The
They
money.
cost like $3 billion each.
The money this motherfucker has.
Yeah, this is test 8. And then I think they want to do test 9 right away too. This is Starship. I gotta look up the numbers. It's like Starship 29 and Booster 16 or something. I don't know.
It's just insane. Witchcraft. It's not real. No, it's fake. That's why
It's
that's
not
why
fake. It's
it's
not
fake.
fake. It terrifies you that it's real, that you can't make it fake.
It's
He
fake.
caught a fucking spaceship with chopsticks.
No, it's fake, bro. It's Grok. It's Grok. That's not Grok made that video.
Yeah.
Uh anyways, I sent you that video of what you were talking about earlier with Ozempic.
Well, that wasn't the story I was talking about. Wasn't an Ozempic drug.
Oh, okay.
It was a
So
cancer drug, but it's the same. It's the same thing.
same principle.
Right.
So this
Yeah.
is RFK. I think we just stumbled upon the biggest cause of waste in Medicare. RFK Jr. reveals the reason hugely inflated costs for drugs on Medicare get approved is because U.S. Congress, quote, have taken money from the manufacturer. Example, quote, over 100 members of Congress support a bill to fund Ozempic with Medicare at $1,500 a month. Most of
Hmm.
these members have taken money from the manufacturer of that product. Why are members of Congress doing the bidding of a Danish company instead of standing up for Americans? End quote.
Right.
U.S. Congress gets paid off by pharmaceutical companies. They approve astronomical prices for drugs for Medicare, and the taxpayers pick up the bill.
Mm-hmm.
Bought and paid for, bro. We've been saying that for how long?
Mm-hmm. Since we started.
Yeah, I mean
It's
we've known
pretty
it.
much
Everybody
why
knows
we
it.
started this, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely why we're frustrated with all the bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to play this real quick.
Yeah, do it.
So I'm gonna read this. Eric Swalwell panics when I
Oh
ask about
yeah.
his Chinese spy girlfriend Fang Fang. This is from Nick Sortor. He
It's a good
was
video.
went out to dinner and he was working with Laura Loomer and he managed to weasel into Eric Swalwell's party, where Eric Swalwell was around a bunch of lobbyists. And the stuff he caught, we haven't seen the video yet, but he kind of talks about it in this, and I'll go over it. So, uh, Eric Swalwell panics when I ask about his Chinese spy girlfriend Fang Fang and whether that's a bigger national security threat than Elon Musk. I sat next to a drunk Swalwell at dinner for 90 minutes. He was immediately compromised by a group of lobbyists he'd just met, spilling intimate details about his job and asking for help cheating on his wife. Massive national security threat. This guy should have his security clearances revoked. Swalwell spent his dinner bragging about orgies on Capitol Hill, telling them he's bored of his wife and only wants to fuck tens. Worse, he spoke about abusing his power on the House Intel Committee, which he's since been booted off of, saying he pushed to subpoena Ivanka Trump because she's hot as fuck. This guy must be removed from the Homeland Security Committee. He cannot keep his freaking mouth shut. After I began questioning him, Swalwell jumped back into the group of lobbyists to hide from me, but I pressed on. Dude looked absolutely terrified and 100% guilty, and he knows he's been caught. More to come later. I have about an hour and a half of audio to go through, and I'll get it to you soon. Big shout out to Laura Loomer for assisting me with digging into this clown while I was focusing on listening in.
Jesus
And
Christ.
I mean,
But does that even shock you?
no, I mean,
Not at
it's not
all.
like Congress is our finest of AOC for fuck's sakes.
Well, look at what was the kid's name in the wheelchair?
Madison Cawthorn.
Yeah.
He told he was calling all this out long before.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was there for what, 4 years, 2 years?
2 years, I think.
I think it was 2 years, and they tried to get him involved in stuff and compromise him, and he wouldn't do it. And then they freaking made a bunch of stuff about him being gay, and he's just like, yeah, fuck this, I don't need this headache, and he left.
Mm-hmm.
Why would a kid in a wheelchair want to take part in an orgy? You know what I mean? Like, cool. Uh,
Well,
yeah, it just
never mind. I'm
nope,
not going to. I'm not going to do
nope,
it. Let's
nope.
move on.
Yes, nope.
Sorry.
I won't let you touch it.
That's what
I'm sorry.
you're not helping, Ben.
I'm
Okay.
We are terrible people.
Yeah, dude, I think that's why I have two daughters because I'm a fucking terrible
You're,
human.
Me too. I'm being
Like, and
punished as
now I
well.
have to,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
now I'm gonna just have to
Yeah.
deal with all these assholes that are just like me who we would probably get along with great.
Probably.
Now I have to
Oh,
pretend like I hate them.
yeah, that's exactly it. Oh, yeah, okay.
All right.
What do you got to say? Go, your
I'm
turn.
sorry. I'm sorry. Oh, oh. I thought you meant like let it
What
out.
was it
Sorry.
so bad? Oh my God.
Let's see. What do I have? I have um shoot, I just lost it. Oh, we have that Minnesota thing, that fraud thing, that house. Do you have that video? I was gonna play that and I lost it. I exited out of it. All right, so there's basically a hearing in Minnesota about like why all these departments didn't stop all this fraud that was happening from the COVID money fraud, that $250 billion, which they now put one of the defendants in the most recent trial in jail because he tried to intimidate a witness during a court recess. Uh and now there's more fraud coming out on like group homes and stuff like that they're just billing the state for all sorts of stuff that they didn't do. And so they had this hearing that they basically knew that the fraud was happening, but there was nobody stopped it. And they're like, why? They're like, can someone please tell me why? It's against the law. So why are you guys allowing this to happen? You know it's happening. Then nobody had any answers. They're just like,
Well, I believe it was I'll let so and so
yeah, they just kept referring to the lawyer that was
answer
there.
that. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Um.
Just insane.
Yeah. It's unreal. It never ends. I'm looking for it. I think I have it here. Hold on. It's in our text chain, but our
Yeah.
text chain goes like 7 days.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was before the toe popper.
Oh yeah, the toe popper thing. That's crazy too. What the hell was that?
Oh,
That's all
I'm
right.
getting closer.
We don't need to play it.
I'm getting closer. I'm getting farther. I don't
Yeah.
know. I can't find it.
Yeah, that sucks, but that's okay. We'll find it we'll do an update on the
Oh, I found
feed
it.
okay, good.
Here, I'll send it to you.
You want me to play it?
Yeah,
How
because I
long
think
is
it's
it?
2 minutes and 35 seconds.
Okay, we'll play it. Hang on.
General blanket, dude, but still, we have a general blanket authorization for you to stop payment when there's a credible allegation of fraud, and I think kickback would certainly fall within that. Representative Rarick.
Thank you. So help me understand this. So you just said, I think, that it's federally illegal to do kickbacks, but you can't stop it here in the state of Minnesota because it's not illegal in the state of Minnesota. So if it's federally illegal and you're getting some money is federal money coming through Minnesota in all kinds of different forms and fashions through DHS, billions and billions of dollars come from the federal government. Help me understand why we think here in Minnesota that we can't stop kickbacks when it's federally illegal to do so. Help me understand that.
Commissioner Gandhi.
Chair Robbins, Representative, I believe the issue is that we are not able to prosecute it effectively.
Representative Rarick. We can't. Well, the DHS isn't going to be prosecuting it, but you certainly can turn it over to your federal partners, the FBI and others, just as what happened with Feeding Our Futures. And, you know, I remember a decade ago when there were, and I talked to somebody who literally saw this at the airport, there were suitcases full of millions and millions of dollars. And we couldn't substantiate for sure how many hundreds of millions of dollars came out of CCAP, but there was at least some. And that was a decade ago. So now you're saying that we know that we have kickbacks pervasive in state government. There is a federal law prohibiting it, but we don't have the authority to stop it here in Minnesota. I don't understand how those two can be in the same sentence. Madam Chair, I don't understand this at all. Like they already said they have relationships with the FBI and others. It was pervasively throughout their presentation. And yet we know that there's kickbacks. We know it's federally illegal, Madam Chair. And yet we don't have the authority somehow to stop it. I don't understand this, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative Rarick. So Commissioner Gandhi, maybe if you could just respond to the part about working with your federal partners and why that's not happening, because that is a violation of federal law, if not state law. And then I'd like you to finish up the presentation. So a quick response, Commissioner Gandhi.
Chair Robbins, Representative, I would like to ask Director Johnson to answer the question.
Dude, but
So it just keeps getting kicked back. Just incredible.
Well, something like kickbacks can be given in the state of Minnesota and it's not illegal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So now you start to understand why Feeding Our Future was being allowed. Now you
Mhm.
start to understand why the daycare, which was the offshoot of Feeding Our Future, and when they talk about CCAP, that's the COVID assistance program, right? Um, so you start to see now why they were using and tapping this program with all this false crap, and why you had Ellison and Walls involved. And it's going to go to the top. I mean, it's already at the top. We know it is.
Mhm.
And it's not illegal for them to take kickbacks. Federally, it's illegal,
Mhm.
but state-wise, it's not illegal. And I think when you look at like the bigger picture, the Democrats weren't going to go after Walls.
No.
They weren't going to go after Ellison. And if they're in power, and that was kind of the play here, was keep the Democrats in power at all costs. These guys thought they were perfectly fine. 8, 10 years down the road, nobody's going to be paying attention to this because the amount of slime and corruption that takes place in states and the federal government moves so fast and there's so much, it's always flowing, right?
Yeah.
So there'd be more slime and goo to talk about within a year. And of course, this is it's kind of par for the course when you look at what we're starting to see with DOGE and all the fraud and shit that's going on with DOGE. So how would they think this is anything compared to that, right? I mean, you're talking billions, almost trillions of dollars over the last couple decades through our own treasury and through our own like USAID and programs through NGOs. So of course state governors and all these people are like, what's a couple million? It doesn't matter.
Mhm.
But now you know why certain people go to Washington and should only have made 1.4 million in 10 years or whatever it is, and they get out of Washington after 20 years, instead of having 2.8 million or $3 million, they got 90 million
Mhm.
or they got 140 million,
Yeah.
right? This is the shit that's taking place. It's fucked up.
Mhm.
It's so corrupt. I don't know. It's just, what do you do?
No.
This is that I'm gonna send you this. Oh, I already sent it to you, but I found it. This is that thing I was talking about where the civil service employees are millionaires. Almost 160,000 civil service employees are millionaires.
Oh yeah. That's
Uh,
ridiculous.
when President Biden took office, there were fewer than 70,000 federal workers that could qualify as being a millionaire. By 2022, the number grew to 76,889. The number ballooned to 155,334 by September of 2024. It is likely there are over 160,000 millionaires currently working in our federal government. Um, how? Where's all that money coming from?
Man,
It's
unless
not
they're
their fucking salaries.
counting their pensions, there's no chance they should be at that.
It's not their salaries that's making them this
Yeah.
money.
Yeah.
So what is it? I mean, these people are making, one of them, AOC, has one employed that's making $34,000 a year.
Mhm.
So how are these people turning out to be millionaires?
Yeah.
Is it to keep their mouths shut? Is it to provide information somewhere else? Is
Mhm.
somebody else paying them money because they're on the take? How are they fucking making this money? That has to be figured out. There should be no millionaires in the government. None. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's a
Mhm.
civil service. It's wow. Yeah. I think that that just that's crazy to me. You know what I mean? It's absolutely fucking crazy.
Agree.
Uh, remember when Sean Penn went to Zelensky and brought him his
Oh
Oscar?
yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
saw. Yeah, I think he sent this to me.
dude, he was paid $5 million to go do that by USAID.
Mhm.
Out of the kindness of his heart, he shows up to give his Oscar to frickin' Zelensky and bring support there. Nope, he's paid
Mhm.
$5 million out of our USAID funds to send Sean Penn to fucking Ukraine.
To
Do
give him
I give a fuck?
give him an Oscar.
Give him an Oscar because he's doing the best job of fucking acting possible. He's acting like he's a fucking president who wants freedom. Little piece
Mhm.
of shit. Um, dude, it's shocking to me. It goes on like the amount of stuff. I sent you that video of Ilhan Omar calling all of us dumb, right?
Yeah, idiots.
Idiots. We're just stupid people. We can't be taken serious. Like the amount of
Mhm.
stuff in Washington where these people were letting them. We have let them do this for so long. Their grift has been in place for so long. They are so comfortable saying whatever the fuck they want or doing whatever they want, right? Because
Mhm.
no one has ever held them accountable before. Never. You said it yourself. Many have tried, right? A lot of people have tried. They just couldn't do it. It was just
Mhm.
too difficult to task, both Republican and Democrat. And now it took a billionaire, real estate mogul, the richest man on the planet who fucking catches fucking rocket ships with chopsticks
Mm-hmm.
and puts satellite internet in space and under the ocean now somehow.
Mm-hmm.
It takes these two. It takes a lieutenant colonel. It takes a former fucking Fox News analyst. It takes a former FBI or a former Secret Service agent and another freaking guy who was just a lawyer who served and in capacity with Devin Nunes as like a special prosecutor. It
Mhm.
takes these people to come in and RFK. It takes a Democrat, a lifelong Democrat who tried to run on the Democrat ticket, who was fucked over on the Democrat ticket, who was sued to be taken off ballots, then sued to be left on the ballots. Like, what the fuck? This band of people that has come together honestly is I don't even know what you would call it. We called it a coalition,
Yeah, we
right?
did. Yeah.
This honestly is a coalition. We asked for this or
Mm-hmm.
hoped this would happen before it was even thought of happening.
Yeah.
And it came together, right? I mean, we were like episode 3 talking about this.
Yeah.
Um,
It's
but
amazing
the
how
other
much shit we've gotten right.
well, yeah, we're pretty fucking spot on most of the time.
I'm the dumbest person I know.
We just have smart friends that tell us a lot of things
There
in
you
the
go.
know.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's all it is.
Uh well, we could talk about that too later, but um it just shocks me, right? Like they have gotten away with so much for so long that this coalition came out of nowhere, put itself together, and then they try to assassinate the president, and it just strengthened everything. You know what I mean? Like some fucking idiot tries to kill Trump, and then Elon's like,
Yeah.
"That's my guy." He just stood up and pumped his fist in the air and said,
Well,
"Fight."
and
That's
Zuckerberg
cool.
too.
Yeah. Well,
You know,
yeah.
like it's like all this shit. Like I laughed right there just because like it's how does this shit all happen? Right? Like one side got fucking crazy and everybody's like, "Holy shit, we can't keep going down this road." Like it was one thing after the other that just kept piling on and then like you said the shot and everybody's like, "Okay, this is it." Like we have to fucking
Yeah. You had no choice, right?
mhm.
It's either sink or swim.
It feels like it. Yeah, it feels
Yeah.
like there was nothing left.
Uh I should send you this one to play. 1 trillion American taxpayer dollars were stolen during the pandemic. 70% of that money went overseas. That's
Yeah.
unfucking believable.
Mm-hmm.
$1 trillion of ours during the pandemic when people were fucking getting kicked out of their jobs, weren't being allowed to work, when people were struggling.
Yeah.
$1 trillion taxpayer dollars goes overseas.
Yeah. All the money that
70%.
was supposed to be used to help keep people employed or keep
Yeah.
people paid while they
Yes.
were locked out.
Yep. 70% went overseas.
It's incredible.
$700 billion overseas.
My God.
That's insane.
Just stolen.
Stolen, gone,
Yeah. Yeah.
poof, disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
6,000 journalists and 700 newsrooms received USAID money.
Why? Why? Is that for another day?
What should we can fucking say it here. I'm sure it'll come
Well,
out at some
we've
point.
talked about it before, haven't we?
Yeah. We talked about boy, this is gonna get into the weeds, bro.
Do you want to skip it? I can edit that out.
No, I mean we can do it. We can go with it. It'll come out eventually.
We know that operation though, right?
Yes.
That's been public, so let's just talk about that.
All right. So there's some things in the works, and I we'll see what comes out about it, but I'm guessing it's gonna come out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Back in the 1960s, there was a project called Project Mockingbird. And people in the conspiracy theory world think that this is a legit thing. And it turns out that now it's looking like this is a legit thing. So
Might not be a conspiracy after all.
might not be a conspiracy after all. So what has happened is Project Mockingbird was the CIA basically recruiting um, students out of college that were going to school for be news anchors. And they were doing it all over the world. It wasn't just the United States, it was all over the world. They're recruiting these people and they were paying them to report with a slant on a patriotic slant on any issue that had to that dealt with the United States, right? That was the plan. It was propaganda that they were paying for, the CIA was, so that you could condition both our general public as well as, adversarial public abroad to have a more positive spin on the United States. Not only did they pay the wages of the asset, the journalists that they put in place, they also paid the news agency a bunch of money to let that person stay there, right? So during Project Mockingbird, we knew this was a thing. We knew this took place. It got exposed late in the 60s, early in the 70s, and then the CIA scrapped it. But just like almost all CIA projects, they really never fucking scrap it. They just shift it, go dark, and it comes up somewhere else with a different file name, and they just get their money from somewhere
Yep.
else.
Right. And we
Well-
also know that USAID is a slush fund for a
Yes.
lot of off-book
Other.
stuff.
Other off-book stuff, right?
Yeah.
Not even just USAID. There's the chance that the Fed had other contracts that were money was tacked on. There's a chance that the Department of Defense had money tacked on. There's a chance that you don't pay $7,000 for a wrench, right?
Right.
So where's all this money going? So a lot of this stuff is starting to come out now, and we're starting to see more and more pile up about it. When people like Elon are starting to post it, and others in that circle are starting to say stuff about it, things are starting to kind of come out. Well, now I want you to take what we just talked about. They have exposed USAID going to journalists, and they've canceled all of these chunks of money that are going to journalists. Are going to these, not just journalists, all over the place, right? With DOGE. And now you're starting to see journalists get fired. And the journalists that are getting fired are from shows that are heavily liberally slanted, with a heavy liberal slant, right?
Yeah.
You just saw Joy Reid go down. You have seen several others over the last, I don't know what, month and a half. And maybe there's something to this now where this is all coming out, where the money that was being used to pay salaries and to manipulate their way in is no longer there, and they can't just go and get it. You have Tulsi come out and admit that CNN is the propaganda arm of
Yeah. That was tonight.
Of the intel agencies. You have John Ratcliffe come out and say, we're going to stop the spread of disinformation through the media, through our intel agencies. You have all sorts of stuff like that coming out, and then DOGE finds the money with USAID. And now maybe it looks like Project Mockingbird was actually really taking place the entire time. And you can kind of track when it went full fucking crazy.
Yeah.
It went full crazy after Obama's first year in office. So you can see when the power switched and it turned. And basically what happened, and this is, boy, I don't want to give up our guy.
Don't give it. Don't do that.
What happened was there's a transition in power, right? And they put in their people, right? Their directors, their deputy directors, all the way down in every facet. And they came in, and the Obama administration cleaned house. Just like Trump is doing now. Obama did it. And for those of us military guys that can remember this, he did it in the military with the litmus test, and basically weeded out the chain of command and weeded out brass that was more patriotic. And there was questions asked like, would you fire on American civilians? Would you give the order to fire on American civilians? Like all these kinds of questions and tests. And he kind of like weeded out the military because we were, he wanted to cut the budget, right?
Yeah.
And that's how he did it. That's the belief. But they did the same thing with Bush's intel communities, with George W. Bush's intel communities, the NSA, the CIA, the DIA, DNA, DNI. I mean, all that, all those intelligence institutes were the same thing. They were getting, I don't know, proffered, or things were being, people were getting taken out left and right.
Yeah.
And they were implementing their own people there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they did such a good job at it with the Obama administration over 8 years that it left that rot and that bloat there. And then Trump came in, and nothing went well for Trump, obviously, because he had a rogue group of people there that were already, you know, Obama's people, right?
Mm-hmm.
The holdovers of the Obama, that mentality, that ideology. And so he fought that constantly. And then you had Biden go back, and Biden doubled down, right? And now Trump's back in office, and we've killed the programs. So
Yeah.
you can actually go all the way back to Obama 1, his first term, and you can see when it happened. You can actually track the flip. I've said it so many times on here. How the hell did we get from me kicking indoors from 2003 to 2008 in combat, and then I come home, and less than 15 years later, what fucking Riley Gaines is in a pool with fucking Leah Thomas. She can't win because it's a tie and she doesn't get a trophy when she's worked her whole life for this. And now Leah Thomas can go, have a hard on in the locker room right next
Mm-hmm.
to all these girls who are changing. How have we gotten here? And the answer is very simple. It's because they employed their own assets to get us here. They manipulated the news. We have called it Project Shield forever and a day, and that's exactly what it was. The propaganda changed. The people that were in power in the media, the news media, were all pro-war for George Bush, until it got to the end and it looked like they were going to lose, and the next hand of power was going to be the Democrats. And when Obama came in, they completely gutted those agencies, replaced everybody with their own stooges, and then the media flipped and did exactly what they wanted. They got out with the Warhawk reporters, and in came in the freaking woke ideology, trans, green energy, climate change. All of these people came in, and it hit
Mm-hmm.
all at once.
Yeah.
And we have been living with that for the last 16 years. And so now maybe there's something to it, right? The conspiracy, it seems like it's going to be proven to be true. I would be
Maybe.
willing to bet
Mm-hmm.
a large amount of money that
Mm-hmm.
we are going to find in the next couple of years, maybe, that they were actively utilizing news reporters like, some of the hard far left, reporters, and those things were taking place. Don't know who, we don't know what reporters. Obviously, we're not going to know that right now until this kind of breaks.
Mm-hmm.
But I would be willing to bet that's taking place,
Yeah.
and that's fair to say. It's a lot to talk about, and I wish we had our guy on here to actually talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
but he's got bigger fish to fry. So
Yeah.
there's no way
One
that's
day.
going to happen right now.
One day.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. He'll come on eventually when this all gets squared away, and like he's already talked about he wants to write a book. When everything is all said and done, this guy's book is going to be absolutely he'll be,
It'd be crazy.
yeah, I can't even imagine. But
Yeah.
yeah. So there's that. And I don't know, like I don't know, it's hard to buy into any of it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because it is just absolutely fucking out there. But we know it is a program that existed. We know that they said they stopped it. And the CIA doesn't just stop stuff. We
Yeah.
also know that. They
Yeah.
just move it. So, and then we saw all the money. The money's going there. So who knows? Who knows? 6,000 journalists and 700 newsrooms receive money from USAID.
Mm-hmm.
And then you see all the shit where they're, the super cuts, right? This type of stuff.
Treasure Valley communities.
Oh, yeah.
We've talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
Now you know why. You know why all of them all across the board. That's hundreds of reporters saying the same thing.
Yeah. Yep.
And false news has become all too common on social media. They're alarming. Some media outlets push these fake stories without checking facts first.
The shooting of bias and
Yeah.
Document here. And the funny thing is, and this is what gets me with all this, in this supercut, this is ABC, it's MSNBC, it's Fox, it's CNN,
Well,
it's
all
CBC.
it was all the Sinclair broadcasting channels, all the local channels.
And they go across everything, right? It
Mhm.
goes across all branches. It's not just like Fox News, right? It's not just, it's all of them.
Mm-hmm. Because they own them.
Right. Right. It's I don't know. There's something to it. Who will see? Time will tell.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, there's so much shit right now that you just never fucking know.
Yeah.
So I would be willing to bet, and we'll just see where that goes. But we're seeing a bunch of people on these shows being ousted.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. Maybe that's an alternate explanation of why.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. But yeah, I think that's about it for us tonight, right?
Yeah, I think so. Check us out on our website, bluecollartakes.com, Facebook, Truth, X. We're on all of them.
Yeah, man. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah. Thanks, everyone.
Later.
Thanks for listening to Blue Collar Takes. Oh, and fuck YouTube.